Hi guys! At present, the civil war in Syria is perhaps the most complicated in the world because it is divided into many factions and has the participation of many different countries, including Russia, the US, and Turkey, Iran, each helping one side in Syria and making the civil war come to no end. To understand this, we will come to a simple summary below. In early 2011, due to dissatisfaction with the government over corruption, starvation and lack of freedom, the people of Egypt and Tunisia stood up to protest and revolutionized the overthrow of the government. Sharing the same frustrations, people in other Arab countries also followed suit, creating a wave called Arab Spring. It inspired the Syrian people to speak up to demand freedom instead of praising the government. On March 6, 2011, 15 students who are descendants of the famous families painted street paintings with the slogan, "We want the regime to collapse." They were arrested and one of them was killed. The incident caused outrage and became an excuse for people to protest. They demanded the release of criminal students and demanded greater freedom for the people of the country. However, instead of agreeing, President Assad ordered the shooting and arrest of the protesters. Rage spread across Syria and many demanded Assad's resignation. Even many soldiers have deserted from the army and joined the protest group. They call themselves the Free Syrian Army. The clash between the people and the government quickly escalated into a civil war. From here, things started to tangle like spider silk. Taking advantage of the chaos, the Al-Qaeda organization established a branch in Syria called Jabhat al-Nusra. They called on protesters with mostly Sunni Muslims to join in against the Assad regime. Al-Qaeda's goal was to overthrow rotten, apostate regimes in the Middle East and replace them with a genuine Islamic government. So we see this organization represents throughout the Middle East. Next, the Kurds in Syria also took up guns to stand up against the government. They are the most pathetic people in the world, living but not recognized as citizens of the nation. There are about 30 million people living mainly in Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. On the government side, they were aided by the Iranian Ali as an advisor, trainer, and weapons supplier to the Syrian army. Now, Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed Lebanese militant group, also participated in assisting Assad against the rebels. At the same time, Saudi Arabia jumped in to pump money and weapons to rebels Jabhat al-Nusra and Jordan, hostile to the Assad regime. Their goal is to counter Iran's influence in the region. In 2013, Assad's army used chemical weapons to attack the insurgents, killing many civilians. Immediately, the US threatened to launch an attack if Assad did not stop. Russia also advised Assad to stop. In 2014, a branch of Al-Qaeda in Iraq quit the organization because of internal conflict. They call themselves the Islamic States of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS for short. This group sent troops to Syria but not against the Assad regime, but to attack Jabhat al-Nusra and the Kurds. They replaced Al-Qaeda to form a new organization in Syria called Caliphate. In the same year, ISIS carried out terrorist operations that captured Iraqi territories and continued to expand into Syria. They became the most powerful force and controlled most of Syria. The whole world condemned and began to turn attention into this organization. The rebels and Assad's forces are both fighting against ISIS and at war with each other. The United States initially intended to attack the Assad regime, but later redirected its target to ISIS and its armed caliphate in Syria. They opened training programs for any army in Syria against the caliphate. In September 2014, the United States, along with the forces of Bahrain, Jordan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, began to attack ISIS, formally initiating the counter-terrorism process in Syria. In August 2015, US ally Turkey attacked the Kurds, an ethnic group that struggled for long-standing autonomy in the country and in Iraq and Syria. At that time, the Kurds also participated in fighting ISIS, which led to confusion and confusion. The United States sees ISIS as an enemy, but their allies beat someone who helps them destroy the enemy. In September of that year, Russia also jumped in to fight ISIS and assist its ally in defending the Assad regime. Before that, they mainly provided weapons and equipment to the Syrian army. As soon as it joined, the Russian Air Force was very enthusiastic about bombing the insurgent bases and destroying the terrorists. In 2016, Donald Trump was elected US President. He announced his withdrawal from Syria. Later that year, President Assad, backed by the Russian Air Force and Iran-backed Hezbollah militias, pushed the rebels out of urban areas while retaking many of the ISIS-occupied territories. In 2017, Assad once again used chemical weapons against the population, killing 85 people, of which 20 were children. Shortly thereafter, the United States ordered attacks on chemical weapon sites in Syria to deter the Assad regime. In the following years, Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah militants continued to support Assad. They now helped the regime gain control of 70% of the territory. The rebels control only a small part of the northwestern part of the Idlib province. However, Turkey has extended its intervention, not only attacking the Kurds but also helping the rebels against the Syrian government, with the aim of preventing refugees from flooding the country. On the ISIS rebel side, 2019 was declared defeated by the United States. However, the United States did not withdraw its troops after the accomplishment of its goal, but remained in Syria in the Kurdish-controlled northeast. After the war against ISIS, the main goal of the United States was to contain Iran and increase its influence in Syria and in the region. In short, the civil war in Syria is not over yet. The video is over here. Thank you for watching. If you see it is a good video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you.